Can I drive with a provisional driver's license? Can I drive with provisional driving license in the UK? Now, I've received this message. This Tron's trying to find out from me if it is possible that they drive with their provisional driving license in the UK. Right. It is possible, but based on some conditions. We are going to look at the condition very well tonight. You can drive in the UK, you understand, with your provisional driving license, but you have to follow these very conditions, these very rules that I'm about to give to you. So if you've got your provisional driving license and you are wondering whether you are fit enough, or whether you are eligible to put a car on the road to drive, please listen to this video, and I want you to try as much as possible to share it with 1 or 2 persons. Now, yes, you can drive in the UK with a provisional driving license in the UK. But first and foremost, you must listen to this, that you must understand the fact that you have to be supervised, by an experienced driver. It is very critical that you listen very carefully to this. Don't say, the reality says I can drive with provisional driving license, and you buy your car, you put it on the road without having these things in place. First of all, right, you must be supervised by an experienced driver and follow certain rules. What do I mean by experienced driver? Somebody who has been driving in the UK for at least, or that has 3 years driver's license, minimum of 3 years driver's license, and of course over. Now, who is that experienced person that you're talking about? If you say you can drive in the UK, but it has to be that you are supervised by an experienced person. So who is this experienced person? One, experienced person can be your instructor. Oftentimes when you are going on the road to, with your instructor to learn to drive, your instructor is sitting by your side, you are driving. You understand? You've got your provisional license. All right. So an instructor can be an experienced person in that regard, who can sit beside you while you drive with your provisional driving license. A family member as well can be an experienced person. When we say an experienced person, we're talking about someone who has been doing that thing for some years. That's the meaning of experienced. So someone who is a family member or a friend, you understand, who is not less than 21 years of age. See, it is very important that you listen critically to this. Otherwise, you make mistakes. You understand? Someone who is a family member or a friend who is not less than 21 years of age, and their license is not less than 3 years. Their license can be 3 years or more, you understand, and they cannot be less than 21 years of age, and they are either your family member or a friend. You understand? Now, you need to understand the fact that you need to have an L plate. L plate. Oftentimes you go on the street level or you go on the road, you see people with, just like you can see on the screen, L plates. You understand? If you are learning, if you've got provisional driving license and you want to be driving, you must indicate at the back of your car or at the front of it with the sign L. You understand? Don't forget that it is very important that you have somebody who is experienced by your side before you can be able to use your provisional driving license to drive on the roads in the UK. Another thing is insurance. Okay, that car must be insured. There are a lot of insurance companies who will insure your car, with your provisional driving license, who will insure your car. But then have it at the back of your mind. I'm laying emphasis on it that you cannot put that car on the road if it doesn't have all of these things that I'm mentioning. Otherwise, you will get yourself in a serious trouble. Now, you can drive on most roads except motorway. You can drive on most roads in the UK except the motorway. Now, the only time you can drive on the motorway is when you are with your instructor. The only time you can drive on the motorway is when you are with your instructor. You can equally drive on other roads in the UK with a family member or friend. Not necessarily have to be with an instructor this time. You can go with a family member or a friend whose license is not less than 3 years. If the person that is sitting beside you is a family member or a friend, you cannot drive on the motorway with them. The only person you can drive on the motorway with is your instructor. Have this at the back of your mind and don't make mistakes. Now, to those people that are interested in getting their provisional driving license, the form you will use is a Form D. Form D1. All right. You can obtain these from the post office. You can do it online. You understand? Either ways, whichever one is convenient for you. you know, just to obtain the provisional driving license. It is very important. I will just recap to summarize so that you can get it in just less than 1 minute. Now, yes, you can drive in the UK with your provisional driving license following these conditions, these rules. Now, you must be supervised by an experienced person, someone who is experienced. All right. What do you mean by someone who is experienced? An experienced person can be your instructor. An experienced person can equally be a family member or a friend. All right. And that a friend of yours cannot be, or a family member of yours cannot be less than 21 years of age. And then their license cannot be less than 3 years. You understand that? And then you must have L plate at all times whenever you're putting the car on the road. All right. And then you must make sure there is an insurance on that particular car at all times. There are various insurance companies that will, be able to give you premium, on that car based on the kind of license you are holding. You understand? You can also drive on major roads except on motorway. And if you want to drive on the motorway, you need to be supervised by an instructor. You can equally drive on most roads in the UK except the motorway. The only time you're allowed to drive on the motorway is when there is an instructor by your side. With your with your family member or with your friend, you cannot take them to motorway. So don't mix these two together. Understand this very fact. If you have any question whatsoever, try as much as possible to leave it in the comment section. I know there are a lot of people, who will understand this very well and can actually pop in 1 or 2 points for you to understand. It is a crime to drive in the UK without a full driving license. And if you must drive with a provisional license, you must follow these rules. If you're not following these rules and you're driving with a provisional driver's license, then it is a crime for you. And I don't want you to go into any trouble whatsoever. That's the reason why I'm saying this. And I'll see you in the next video.